Welcome to today's story. We'll learn English through the life of Steve Jobs. Was a man who changed the world with his ideas. He once said, "Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower." Today, let's learn English through the inspiring life story of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was born on February 24th, 1955, in San Francisco, California. His biological parents were young college students who couldn't raise him, so they gave him up for adoption. A kind couple, Paul and Clara Jobs, adopted baby Steve. Paul was a mechanic, and Clara was an accountant. They lived in a small house in Mountain View, California, a place that later became known as Silicon Valley. From a very young age, Steve was curious and creative. He loved taking things apart, radios, machines, even toys, just to see how they worked. His father taught him how to build and repair things with care and perfection. That skill, to see beauty in design, stayed with Steve all his life. Steve was a smart but restless student. He didn't like to follow rules and often challenged his teachers. After high school, he went to Reed College in Oregon, but after just 6 months, he dropped out. College was expensive, and Steve didn't find the classes useful. However, he didn't stop learning. He continued to attend classes he loved, like calligraphy. That class taught him about beautiful letters, spacing, and design. Years later, those lessons helped him create the beautiful fonts on the first Macintosh computer. Sometimes, the things that seem useless today can become valuable tomorrow. In 1976, when Steve was just 21 years old, he and his friend Steve Wozniak started a small company in Steve's garage. They called it Apple. Their goal was simple: to make computers small, easy to use, and available for everyone. They built the Apple I, and soon after, the Apple II, which became a huge success. By the age of 25, Steve Jobs was a millionaire. But he didn't care much about money. He cared about creating great products. He once said, "Don't be trapped by dogma," which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Success did not last forever. In 1985, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, from his own company. The board of directors thought he was too difficult to work with. That was the lowest point in his life. But Steve later said, "It was the best thing that ever happened to me." He used that time to start again. He created a new company called Next, and also bought a small animation studio called Pixar. Pixar went on to make hit movies like Toy Story, Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles. And Next, his other company, was later bought by Apple. So when Apple bought Next in 1997, Steve Jobs returned to Apple as CEO. And that's when the magic began again. When Steve came back, Apple was losing money. But within a few years, he turned it into one of the most valuable companies in the world. He launched products that changed our lives. The iMac, a beautiful all-in-one computer. The iPod, music in your pocket. The iPhone, a phone that changed everything. And later, the iPad and the App Store. Steve focused on simplicity, design, and user experience. He believed that technology should not be complicated. It should be beautiful and easy to use. He once said, "Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works." In 2005, Steve Jobs gave one of the most famous speeches in history at Stanford University. He told 3 stories from his life. The first was about connecting the dots, how dropping out of college helped him later. The second was about love and loss, how getting fired from Apple made him stronger. The third was about death, how thinking about death reminded him to live fully every day. His message to the world was simple: stay hungry, stay foolish. It means never stop learning, never stop dreaming, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Steve Jobs fought pancreatic cancer for many years. Even when he was sick, he continued to work and inspire people. He passed away on October 5, 2011, at the age of 56. But his ideas are still alive in every iPhone, every Mac, and every design that puts beauty and function together. Steve Jobs' life teaches us many lessons. Follow your passion. Believe in yourself. Never stop learning. Turn your failures into opportunities. And always stay hungry, stay foolish. Thank you for watching. If you like this story and learned something new in English, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And remember, great things are built by people who believe in their dreams.